What's going on,
guys?
Welcome to day number 2 in the Young Entrepreneur Project.
Kirkamo!
Ron's here already!
Man, he's fast!
It is a great day to be alive. He's already here, and we said 9 o'clock, and he's already here. Well, for those of you not watching live, we're an hour early. Time just, doesn't wait for anybody. So, thank you for tuning in. All of you that tune in live and all of you that are watching this back, we do this live on Instagram, so make sure you follow us right here or over here. and yesterday I spelled his username wrong, so don't go follow that. Come follow me, and then I'll spell it right today, so you can go follow.
I spelled his wrong, so you can find mine.
So what are we talking about today?
Ron recommended ethical marketing. I recommended brand and business building 101.
So, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, we'll probably do a hard mix of both.
Marketing and brand building kind of are together. And your brand is your business, so.
Yep. What Donald Trump says. If your business isn't a brand, it's just a commodity.
We don't need to talk about politics on the radio, okay? People are going to freak out.
I'm sorry.
Whether you agree or disagree with Donald Trump.
I was just giving a quote. I apologize.
It's just a quote from, him in his business career. Let's ignore the rest of it. All right, moving on. I might edit this out, but probably not. All right.
No editing. One cut wonders.
One cut wonders. That's what hashtag one cut wonders.
Yep.
I'm going to put that on the screen right here.
Yeah, definitely. That should be our hashtag.
Hashtag one cut wonders. Awesome. So, we have devised a series of questions. Yesterday it was pros and cons, and that seemed very easy to do for network marketing because there are obvious pros and cons. But there's no cons to marketing. So
at all.
Literally zero. You can't do it wrong. You can do it less right, but you can't do it wrong.
That's true. All you have to do is do it.
All you have to do is do it.
And don't stop doing it.
Man, it's like we're almost exactly where we left off yesterday. Perfect. Not saying that back.
Ron's being inappropriate in the chat. Those of you who tune in live get to see it.
Check it out, because it can be funny, but also inappropriate. All right, so like I said, we got a series of questions. We're live. We're taking questions. Yeah. Anything crazy going on today? Did you tell them that you jumped up in Vesley?
I didn't tell them I jumped up in Vesley.
Yeah.
I caught up to Kylan on Vesley today.
Yeah, so
my
Kolton,
AMD stock shot up like 7%.
So Kolton is the stock wizard of the day.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Oh yeah, we didn't even introduce ourselves. For those of you that don't know, I'm Kylan Laymance.
I'm Kolton Kelly.
And this is the
Young
Young
Entrepreneur
Entrepreneur
Project.
Oh, that was so cute.
That was cute. I like that. Let's stick that.
All right. Back to branding. Market twing. All right, back to branding. All right, so I only wrote down 3 questions, so hopefully we can draw 45 minutes out of this.
And I wrote down 2 statements, so...
So please, throw questions in the chat.
Please.
And, if you have my phone number or you have me on Facebook, you can literally call. That's fine, too. We'll take callers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take callers. All right. The first question I wrote down was when you think of brand, when you think of the word brand, and just clear your mind of everything except brand. And now, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like the very first thing without thinking.
Probably brands that I affiliate myself with, and because that's all really a brand. When I think of brand, that's all I think of is a company, a business, an image that people choose to associate themselves with.
Okay.
And whether you're like Nike, there's people that choose to wear only Nike shoes or Vans. It doesn't everything you see people walking around in branded, and they're choosing to assimilate themselves with that brand that they're wearing.
Okay. I agree.
That's what I think of the first time I think of brand.
When you think of brand?
That's what I think
All right, ask me.
What do you think of the word brand? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing I think of is those freaking fidget spinners.
That's not a brand.
They are.
They're not a brand.
They are a...
What is the brand of fidget spinner? That's just what it is.
But fidget spinner is brand.
It's not brand.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not.
I'm willing to argue that it is.
I think it's... There's no branding on it.
There's no branding on the fidget spinner, but the fidget spinner concept itself is a brand. It has a livelihood. It has a lifelikeness to it. It's kind of like...
it's not an entity, though.
It's not an individual
I feel like a brand has to be an entity.
I feel like a brand has to be a concept. I think it has to be something that people will gather around. This just in, phone a friend, there is a patent on fidget spinners, so it is possible that it could be brand.
Who owns the patent?
I don't know. Can somebody Google that?
Because whoever owns the patent is, in my opinion, the person that owns the brand. It has to be either owned by an entity, it has to be like a managed, like organized.
But don't you think that would make it the most beautiful brand? Is that it's beautiful because it's organic and it's talked about by everybody, but it's not necessarily back to one thing. Like Microsoft is a brand, right? We understand Microsoft is a brand because it was owned by somebody. But
I think PC computers are a brand.
But
whereas it's like saying that like computers are a brand. Like no, you have Apple and you have Microsoft PC.
But everyone bulks PC together. But you can have Linux. Does Linux not PC? Do they not
That's
consider
an operating
that PC?
system. I'd consider Linux a brand. It's a branded operating system.
So Microsoft, Apple, and Linux are brands.
Yeah, see where.
But how is PC as a whole gets grouped? But you can have Lenovo and Dell and.
Well, PC stands for what? Personal computer.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But when we think of PC, we think of it as a whole, almost like a brand. See, that's beautiful branding.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's up for debate. Leave a comment and let us know. Okay, so a Florida-based creator, Catherine Hedinger, couldn't afford the patent of the whoa. What is that word that he said?
I think he has a typo.
Ubiquitous. No, it is. It's ubiquitous. No, he spelled it wrong. Ubiquitous playground toy, but insists she pleased about its sudden popularity. So it was invented by somebody. So can you say it's a brand? If she titled it, if she named it, Fidget.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like the fidget, it's like
quote unquote
to
Fidget would be the brand.
Fidget spinners, whatever. And if you were saying computers, like that, that's like saying computers is a brand. To me, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, I understand. I feel like we had to talk about it because of its sudden popularity.
Like if two major fidget spinner companies came out and branded their fidget spinners, and there was like two major competitors in the market, that's good branding.
That's excellent branding.
It's excellent branding.
Okay.
It's the same thing. I feel like branding and marketing also go hand in hand. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, branding and marketing do go hand in hand because you don't have a brand without marketing.
So, like, if there's two successful, maybe not even successful, there's two fidget spinner companies. One of them sucks, the other one is great. They're both considering themselves brands, but they're both dealing a brand and selling a brand like that. So that's why I have the disconnect on why fidget spinners themselves are brands.
Huh. Okay. Understand. Had to be talked about. Somebody had to bring it up at some point in one of these conversations. Ron says Apple is the best brand right now. I don't think that we can say that, actually. I don't think we're affiliated with Apple. And I don't think that Apple is a better brand than any other brand.
Yeah,
there's bigger companies that come to my mind when I think of brand.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
Yeah, Apple's not the first thing that jumps to my mind.
They maybe the best brand in their space, but definitely not by far the best brand.
But they do have, I would say that they have arguably the most loyal following of a brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If not the strongest.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, you could argue is the best brand if your people are willing to stand by you that much.
I mean, how many other brands have a major release and they have people lined up blocks long to get the product.
Nintendo.
You don't see that for fidget spinners.
No. You don't see that for fidget spinners. All right. You got me on the fidget spinners. All right, it's over.
Sorry.
All right, so the first thing that comes to brand right now for me is Walmart.
When you think of brand?
When I think of brand, the first thing I think of is Walmart because I'm cheap.
I think of Nike.
You think of Nike?
I do.
Because he has better taste than I do, apparently.
I think of Gucci.
Gucci Mane. I think of Louis Vuitton. Okay. So, in an effort to keep up with the suggestions from yesterday's live feed, someone had mentioned that we talk about ethical marketing combined with branding, since marketing and branding do go together. And I was a little bit confused because I am not really certain on what is unethical marketing.
And we talked about this a little bit before the
stream
started, and when I think of ethical marketing, I think of the word marketing, and I think of what's another good word for marketing, and I think ethical presenting. I think ethical marketing just comes down to how you're presenting whatever it is you're marketing, and whether you're going to do it ethically and give the complete, full, honest information, or if you're going to beat around the bush and cut corners and lie, maybe omit some information. I think that's a good example of ethical and unethical marketing.
Okay. So, the only thing that could make marketing unethical is misrepresentation.
Exactly.
Otherwise...
That's literally the only thing in marketing that I can think of that would be unethical is misrepresentation. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you are the marketer and then you're doing, negligent research on your marketing. And there's unethical practice as a marketer, but marketing itself is pretty difficult to be unethical as long as you just are honest about your product. Yeah, so as far as ethical marketing goes, and that was the subject of today's feed, it's almost all ethical. Really, if you...
Ron just put in the chat, Apple makes up whatever price, and people buy it because they set themselves apart, which is key. That's what I said. When you asked me about branding, it's what people are choosing to assimilate themselves with. People that are so diehard Apple fans they will not move. That's what they're choosing to associate themselves with, is that brand.
Right.
Well, I'm Apple, you're PC. Coca, right. Pepsi. It's just it's almost like your friends. You can look at who people are liking as brands on Facebook the same way you see their friends.
That's true.
And they're going to come up in your feed the exact same way you see your friends.
That's 100% true. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
So that's why when I think brand, I think entity.
Okay. I see how you see that.
Mm-hmm.
I see how you say that. Okay.
And I think that if you keep that in mind, I think that's a great stepping stone, as long as you keep that in mind, to Brand Building 101, Business 101, which was one of our tied-in
subjects of the day.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think that with the power of Facebook, Instagram, you're adding people on Facebook who are your friends and family who you already know. I like that brand. My friend, you'll get a notification on Facebook saying your friend likes this brand. You like it too. From that moment, that brand's going to be associated in your feed with your family and friends the exact same way. You're going to see their content that they're sharing.
Until you like something more, or you're involved with something more that replaces it.
And it's still going to pop in there every once in a while.
Right. Just like those weird friends that you don't interact with on Facebook.
Exactly.
I guess that's what people don't realize about marketing, is that it is geared specifically towards you. You get to pick it, just like you pick your friends.
Yeah.
So...
if there's a brand you don't like, it's literally as simple as just ignoring it. Block it on social media, just like you would a person you don't like.
You'll never see it again.
That's why I think entity, but I think brand.
Because you can shut it down like a person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can shut it out like a person.
And people are drawn to it like it's a person. I really like what this brand does. I like whatever non-for-profits they donate to. I like the activities that they post about. I feel like brand 100% should just be another word for entity.
Simply Washington,
what is up? We are Kolton, Kylan. We're shooting a podcast right now. You can't see the other screen. I'm live streaming it at the same time as we're recording it.
So am I.
if you go look at my second most recent post and look at Kylan Laymance, who commented on it, link to the podcast is in his bio. Check it out. Ask a question. I'll answer it.
We'll answer all of it. If you have any brand or marketing questions. Yep. Yeah. But, yeah, thanks for checking it out, and stay tuned for more great marketing information.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one's hard. This one's going to take a minute to think of. This is a hard question.
Okay. Give it to me.
When building a brand, 5 steps. I guess let me rephrase that question. Give me 5 core steps in building a brand, your first 5 steps.
Steps or like key notes or material? Or...
Your first 5 steps. 'Cause I feel like what a lot of people want to hear is how to establish brand. Because like, I just hit 4,200 followers today on Instagram. You could say that I am a small brand individually.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you build a brand?
I think the first... I guess it just depends on how specific and how unspecific you want to get with the steps. But I think the first real step, broad... I think the first major step with brand building is determining your own brand identity. Like brand name, what it stands for.
Right. I feel like a lot of people have been saying this lately too, just across the internet. And I've seen it at least 10 times in the last week. And it's all about what you can contribute to somebody else. So,
I own a trucking company running 11 trucks. Any help getting direct shippers? Absolutely.
We could do that easy. Why don't you send a DM?
Shoot me a DM, and absolutely I can help you with that. 100%.
Ron says, unethical business practice is what Tesla does when you have to sign a contract saying that you will not make sense if it gets stuck in the side of the road. Sorry, that didn't really come out making any sense, Ron.
No, we have 2 live streams going at the same time right now, guys. By the way, so we're reading comments off each one. Yes, absolutely. Send me a DM. I will get to you as soon as we're done with this. Promise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, like I was saying, it's all about what you can contribute. Like, people don't want to see a brand of anything that doesn't, where you're not contributing anything back to them. Like, they want you to influence their life, whether it's with your product or with your content. And thank God it's 2017, because you can build the brand on your content and not just
your product.
Absolutely. So if you aren't contributing anything to the people that you're trying to market to, then you aren't. That's how you establish your brand. You have to decide what you're trying to contribute to your market, what your market is, and what you're contributing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's major. I think that's the first step. I think you're right.
Yeah. And I think second step of determining your own brand identity, I think the second major step is finding your target audience.
You think so?
I think finding the right fine-tuned target audience to go with your brand identity is probably a second, maybe not the second immediate step, but it's definitely, I'm not going to be able to narrow these down to top 5 most immediate, most important to least important, but that definitely should be in there.
In the top 5.
Find your target audience.
Okay. Finding a target audience. For me, the third, one of the top 5, would be the decision to execute on consistency. I think that you need to decide, whether it's content or product, you need to bust it out. Develop the product, produce the content, and consistently execute. Especially in the social media world with things moving as fast as they do,
mm-hmm.
You need to be in the mix, and you need to be in the mix moving fast.
Constantly.
100%.
Yeah.
And that would be my 3.
Got 2 left.
2 left. So, I don't know, dig further into what's going on. Oh!
What's up, Mr. Madrid?
Thank you for the love.
Loving it.
How are you doing? Drop any questions about branding, marketing, or building a business in the comments, and we'll go ahead and
we'll cover them.
Cover those questions and answer them pretty much at any point in time. This has no organization we're still learning how to do this. This is only episode 2.
Yeah.
So, for those of you watching this back, thanks for bearing with us, and this is going to be a learning experience for all of us.
Better every day.
Better every day. You got 4th one yet?
Oh, man.
Wow.
It just comes so instinctually to me that I don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, is once you get going in your brand, you start to forget how you started. And I think that when people come looking for advice from people that have been doing it a while, like yourself and like me, it's hard for me to come back. Like, I could go back and start a new brand from the beginning, but I don't think I can write down step by step what I do, because I think a lot of what is building your brand happens because of something else. It's a reaction, which I guess would be my number 4, actually. Know how to react to actions that happen with your brand.
Find what makes your brand react. Find what makes your brand sizzle.
Know what buttons to press.
Absolutely.
Because if you can press those buttons, then people are going to react, and then reaction is how you grow your brand.
Yeah.
That's how you become massive.
Definitely.
And then advertise. 5th one?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that ties in with the target audience.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to find your target audience is if you advertise. So definitely, like I said,
but people
didn't have a priority.
People don't think that far. They don't understand. Most people that come in blind into any kind of starting of their own business or brand don't realize that that information is available and that they need to fine-tune and work around it.
That's true.
I think it ties in when you've been doing it a while and you realize that that's an important step.
When you're looking for better ways, and it is one of the better ways.
Right, because when you get to a certain point, you end up either narrowing down your audience and targeting the right people, or you're just throwing money away and trying to grow at nothingness, which is what these huge companies are doing with Super Bowl commercials, is they're just throwing it out there.
And don't stop looking for better ways to improve your brand. And there's
you
always a better way to do it. There's always a better way to find your target audience, whether it's through refining on Facebook and Instagram or otherwise. There's always a better way. Never stop looking for it.
How to get followers on Instagram? On Instagram, I'm assuming. This is a question coming in from the live feed. From Mr. Madrid _18, and there's about 5 underscores in CR. I will actually tag him right here back in the live feed. And
it's a lot of underscores.
A lot of underscores. That's why I'm going to tag it right here so you can see it. But yeah, so how you get followers, producing content that relates to people and that gives people something of value. You have to provide value to their lives in their...
I think the best way to gain followers or any kind of following on social media is to just be social.
That's what it is for. Yeah.
Like just put, like, if you have to ask yourself, am I talking to everyone that I find interesting content in? Am I saying, hey, I like that content? Am I liking it? Am I putting content out there to be found? Am I just... Every avenue of social, like, every route of being social on social media, you should be, like, utilizing.
If you go out into the real world and you expect people to just come to you...
What makes you feel good on social media? Do that for others. And
right.
It will, like, what you put out there is going to come back to you.
Right. It's just like the real world. You can't just go open up a storefront and people walk in. Like, eventually you run out of business because people stop just walking in, and you have to go out and find more business. And that's the same thing with social media. Is if you want followers, you have to go out and find the followers and basically beg them to come follow you.
And I think that's where the real divide in social media is there's so much of, the likes feel good, everyone focuses on the return, but there's not enough of what's being put out there being focused on from people. They just think it's going to happen. And you really do have to put yourself out there and go the extra mile, especially on social. It is the only way. And you have to be consistent. You have to be doing it
constantly. Just like you're out talking to your friends and out in public. And anybody that gets into a business and is uncomfortable talking to people, you're going to have to talk to people at least virtually. In this world, you can get away with virtually. But you have to get used to it. You have to put yourself out there to get judged. And
absolutely. And there's going to be people, there's going to be negativity. Like, there's always going to be someone out there focusing on what you're bad at. And so as long as you're focusing on what you're good at and putting that out there and focusing on what others are good at, it's going to come back.
We get those. We get those on the live feed, and we get those comments on the YouTube videos.
Yeah, but you need to just ignore the negativity and only see the positivity, and know that as long as there's going to be positivity, you should always do it.
Right. It doesn't make sense to give up because someone else doesn't like what you're doing. If you like what you're doing and you believe in your brand, then you need to be expanding on it.
If one person out of 100 liked your content, it was not for nothing.
That's 100% true. If you can move one person out of your 1 million followers on Instagram,
it was not in vain.
Yeah, that one person was more powerful than all million people. So I guess I would say that it's not about the follower count at all. So if that's your focus, you're thinking wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You need quality followers.
You want to focus on your own personal network.
No, for sure.
Yep. Don't think of it as a list of people that are following me. Think about a list of contacts of people I've conversed with on this social platform.
Right. If you don't know that you can get a hold of them, then they're not a true follower, and that's worthless. Well, that's a good time to dive into the 1,000 true fan theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not about the number of followers or the number of likes on your Facebook page or on a post. It's all about the quality. If they're not willing to buy anything from your brand, then they're not worth the follow anyway. And so the 1,000 true fan theory is, well, explain it. How does it?
Oh, it's so deep because there's so many business statistics and numbers that go in with that specific theory. Is more of a sales theory than anything.
Yeah, but essentially, if you have 1,000 true fans that spend $5 on you every month, that's $60,000 a year. Essentially, that's the concept of the 1,000 true fan theory. So you can make $60,000 a year if you profit $5 off of 1,000 people every month. And 1,000 people in the big picture is not hard to think of, but for whatever reason, everyone wants 1 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
You just need 1,000 good ones.
Yep. Absolutely. And you're making more than the average baby boomer at that point.
Yeah.
You're making almost $15,000 more at $60,000 a year than the average baby boomer. What do they make? 43 and change?
Yeah, I think it's up to 55 in this state because we're high.
So if you can find 1,000 people that are into what you are and you're putting something out there that they want to invest in,
product,
you made it.
Brand, content, doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. 1,000 people. Super easy to come up with 1,000. I mean, I have 4.
I have 2.
There you go.
2 and a quarter.
By the time most people watch this, it'll be like a lot more. Sure.
Hopefully, I have 3.
Hopefully, you have 3,000 true fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream. Hopefully, this live feed will say more than 10. So, yeah, as far as branding goes, it's just about putting it out there and
just being social on social media.
Being social on social media.
All it is.
And growing within your network. And building a network.
It's like, I mean, like I'm one of those people who just will space out and will scroll through Instagram. And if you're one of those people that just open Instagram to scroll through for 5 minutes and then close it, I mean, you shouldn't be asking why you're not getting any followers. You're not doing anything but consuming content. You're like that kid on the school playground who's doing like his own weird thing on the field, like he's kicking a ball around and everyone's watching him and they're like, what's he doing over there? And they're like, I don't know, he won't talk to anyone. But if you come kick that ball closer to people and say, hey, you want to kick this ball with me? You might make some friends and your network will grow bigger.
You know what I've noticed? You know what I've noticed is a lot of people come into business, and it's any business, network marketing, owning your own business, Instagram, affiliate marketing, any kind of business. And they think that it's way more complicated than it is. Like, there's some secret that the people that are really successful in that niche are using some crazy secret to become successful. And the only thing that I've learned as a business owner across multiple platforms is that the successful people aren't lying to you. There is no secret. It's all about execution.
It's all about your effort and how much time and investment you're willing to put into it.
Right, 100% time, because it's 100% time invested.
Which is what I wrote down in my notes. One of the things I wrote down is for brand building and business building 101 is develop yourself before you develop your business. Because if you're not doing that and you're not constantly improving yourself, you run the risk of your business developing far past you. And you're not going to be able to, like, what happens when you do have that tipping point and your brand blows up overnight and you're just getting started and you haven't done any research? You're fucked. You're like, what am I going to do? I have way more overload than I can handle. I haven't hired. So develop yourself before you develop your brand and understand how to handle situations before you encounter them.
Yeah, if you have that unique following of people that have been following your brand the whole time, it's not going to be hard to find people that you can trust to run your company even. Like, you can take advantage of those people that have been with you from the beginning as customers and convert that into consultants and help. Like, okay, you guys, what do you guys see happening here? Because I'm way overworked. And especially like the initial 10, 20 to 100 people, the initial 100 serious followers in your brand, you can reach out to those people and say, you've been here the whole time, help me, I want you on board. And I mean, that's huge. That's
ambassadors.
Using your resources is massive. And yeah, brand ambassadors are growing like crazy. I get at least 10 messages to be a clothing brand ambassador on Instagram every single day. And that's fake. I'm thinking. I've never been through the whole process, but I don't think it's real.
Clothing brand ambassadors?
Yeah, there's thousands of them on Instagram.
Oh, it's real. It's a thing. It's just marketing.
They're just bad.
It's just another form of marketing.
They're just bad at it.
I mean, you have to put yourself like what he just said. Like, he gets 10 messages a day on his clothing brand account of, can I be a brand ambassador? And the only thing that he has to judge you based off of is clicking on your profile and going, well, let me look at your follow count.
Right.
Let me look at how many people are following you, how many people you're following, what kind of interactions do you have on your content? Is it worth me even investing the time into you?
If you're even going out looking for something like brand ambassadorship, you need to have be an established brand before I would ever want to work with you. And that's in any platform. If I'm selling fidget spinners, I want you to have a following of people that are likely to buy fidget spinners before I pay you to represent my fidget spinners. It doesn't make sense to just go to somebody and say, hey, look, I have 5 followers on Instagram. Can I be a brand ambassador? I don't understand that at all.
I don't see any, like, I would never want to be a brand ambassador. Like, why? I want to know what people are going for when they ask for that. Like, I mean, obviously, most of the time, I'd say a good 90% of the time, it's just you want free clothes.
Yeah.
Like, send me some free stuff. Like, why would, like, if he gets 10 messages a day of people asking for free shit, why would you ever think you would ever get that? Like, so I think that's why Gary Vaynerchuk focuses so much on telling everyone, don't focus on what you can get from people, especially on social. Focus on what you can give them first.
100%.
Like, it's your first date.
Yeah, every single day. Every single day is a first date.
Well, I mean, especially, like, imagine, like, it's a first date. Like, you're just going to ask for the whole plate. Like, you're just going to, like, give me that. Like, no.
Can I have your food? I know it doesn't look like you're going to eat it. Can I have your food on the first date? Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, you do. You have to give it. Man, it all boils back to what you can give other people in any brand. Your product or your content. You have to be able to provide something of value to...
Don't focus on what you can get. That will come to you in time. It's not a question.
I think that's what backwards is. People want so bad. They want so much, so bad that they forget what they can actually provide. And I think people have lost touch with that.
Focus on what you're good at and what you can give to other people. What can you help people with?
Exactly. Like, I know I'm good at sales and I hire out.
Like, the person that just commented about they own a trucking company with 11 trucks. They're good at that business. I'm good at marketing and other business. I can help them. They can help whoever they're helping.
But you know what bothers me?
Helping each other.
What bothers me is they jumped on here and they didn't contribute anything to the conversation. They just want something.
Yeah, but I want something from them too, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay, that makes sense. I just don't like that approach. I don't like that they come in, they ask for something, and then they leave. I think that's bad brand management. To me, you're already misrepresenting yourself because you've offered me nothing. Unless you're offering me cash.
Yeah, which is what I think of when I'm helping you market a company.
Yeah, that's
you're
true.
on contract. So obviously, in that situation, they're saying they own a business. They want something from me. I help you, you help me. That's how business works. So in situations like that, where it's obviously a situation of how can we help each other, not can I be a brand ambassador.
That's true.
Those shirts are pretty cool you just released. I'd like to represent those.
Oh, man. And apparel is so bad for that because there's so many 13-year-olds on Instagram that think that you owe them something.
And that's what I have the issue with. Like, this person has an established business.
Yeah, that wants your help.
Yeah, so...
Okay, I get their approach.
Yeah.
I get their approach. We won't call them out because I call them out. I don't want them to find me.
You're already found.
What's Ron saying over here in the chat? Continue on brand. I'm going to read what Ron's saying. He's leaving some long messages here.
Where do you want me to continue on brand at?
I don't know. Whatever I haven't touched on, go ahead.
I think the only of the two comments I wrote down, I think I just covered the second one, which is treat each of your customers like, don't compromise yourself in your business. Don't overpromise. Don't, like, especially early on, it's really easy, like, as soon as you get a little bit of, like, sizzle to go, yes, yeah, what can I do? Just keep coming back. And it's not, I mean, don't overpromise. But treat each customer like they're your only customer, but don't compromise yourself or your business while you're doing that.
I think, and this has happened to me before, speaking from experience, 100% from experience here, you need to think massive. Think like you're already a huge brand. Even though you're not, you need to act like you're contributing information and it's affecting millions of people's lives. Because that's what millions of people want to see, is somebody that's affecting millions of people's lives. And in my experience, it also will prepare you for when you do that overnight explosion that you were talking about. I had a company that I started, an e-commerce company, that it started out slow and then overnight it seemed like it just started like tripling.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't keep up anymore because my mentality wasn't in that state yet. I was not prepared to handle that kind of information or that kind of sales volume, that kind of sales volume, that kind of overload. And I couldn't keep up on the finances end of it. I couldn't keep up on the customer service end of it. And eventually the company just kind of went to like a neutral stance. And as of right now, it's not doing business anymore. So it's tough to get into that situation for sure. Yeah, you gotta think huge.
It doesn't matter what your business did yesterday. Of course, it matters what your business is doing today, but it matters even more what your business is going to do tomorrow. And you need to be prepared for tomorrow today.
And it matters what your business is going to do 5 years from now. Because launching the business in the first 5 years, you're going to experience failure and success. I obviously know that that's your metaphor, but I think that some people need to hear it. You know, don't plan on... If you do hit success in the first 5 years, which a lot of people do, and you probably will, it's temporary. It's not consistent success yet inside the first 5 years. You need to ride that out and play the ups and downs, and don't get stuck inside the first 5 years. Keep thinking that you're massive and keep working towards that, because you do have a lot of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
And things you're not going to be prepared to handle in any building of a brand, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely. Look 5 years out. Be prepared for 5 years out.
In any brand, in business building. Look, we've circled back on everything now. We've talked about ethical marketing, branding, and then
building social media.
And then your business as a whole, building your business. Man, we did everything in 38 minutes and 22 seconds.
And I mean, I think this is great, because even if you're watching this and you don't own a business or you don't have a brand developed yet, this is like the first... I think so many people are starting to realize that you yourself, you can be a brand, and you can brand yourself. And so if you're working on growing your social media, you're working on growing your brand, if that's where you choose to go with your own profile, is brand yourself. And so you can start right now. You don't need to do anything but start. So what's holding you back?
Well, I think every single person, including people that are in business and people that aren't in business, need to brand themselves on social media. I think that misrepresenting yourself is going to hurt you at some point in the next 10 years. Your representation on social media is going to be a significant impact on careers and opportunities.
Definitely.
And people say that it is now. People say that some employers check their Instagram and stuff like that. But I don't think that they really do it to the extent that you think they do. But I think that it's going to become part of a resume in the next 10 years. because there's so much power in social media and there's so much power in branding that people are going to use your experience in social media to see if you've accomplished anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually going to be a tell sign of how much you've accomplished versus where it is now is just like, how much can I party on Instagram?
Yep.
Right? It'll actually be a representation of your accomplishments for the last 10 years. You can document them, and as social media grows, that's where it's going to get. And Ron commented, using social media the wrong way, you're just wasting your time. This is also coming from somebody that uses social media the wrong way and wastes their time.
Wow, that's so true. I think everyone is guilty of wasting their time on social media to a degree. But
Right.
you need to be honest with yourself and say, is there more I can do?
I take that. No, I will argue every single moment of my day that Gary Vaynerchuk does not waste any time on social media. 0% wasted.
It's because all he does is put content out there.
I think if I could delete the feeds from my social media and only be allowed to post content, I would. Any day of the week. I would delete all of the feed because I don't really care.
What you see should be based off what you're putting out.
Right. And I want to interact with people and I want people to interact with me, but I don't care about your kids or your dog or whatever else is going on.
It's such a really, it's an interesting metaphor for just like consumerism. It's the same on social media, like the percentage of just, I'm just here to consume. There's nothing else involved.
I don't understand that, man.
I just don't.
If you don't see the opportunity that is inside branding on social media, then I think you're going to be behind. Yeah, follow the podcast.
We'll show you.
You've got literally endless amounts of content that we're going to be providing you on why it's so powerful.
Yeah, if you're sitting there wondering, what are they talking about as far as branding their Instagram? How can I monetize this and make money? We'll cover that in different podcasts.
And then go to my bio and follow us on YouTube, and you'll see these podcasts reposted. I also give out live notifications about 10 to 15 minutes before the live broadcast in my story. Turn on post notifications, and I'll start doing a post 10 to 15 minutes before so that you guys don't miss it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we are here to provide information to you guys watching the podcast so that, one, we can create a relationship and find more valuable people to bring onto our team and be assets to us across the country and across the world. And also because it's always been our goal to provide this kind of content to people, because we feel like we grew up in a situation where a lot of people didn't, and we had kind of the mentorship to learn this information from, I don't know, just experience, really, because not so much family wasn't really
involved with it.
They were supportive of it, but they weren't involved in it.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to research it and to find other mentors that really guide you to where we are now, is massive.
Definitely, mentorship is massive.
And don't let anybody tell you can't. Even your family will try to tell you that what you're doing is crazy. If you told your parents you quit your job to grow your Instagram, they would think you're crazy.
But I think that is one of the best things you could do.
I still think it's a little crazy.
I think it's crazy. I mean, I would never do that.
It's not crazy bad. It's crazy.
It's just crazy.
It's just crazy.
That's just crazy.
But it's not
and not
bad.
In a bad or
there's opportunity, and
it's no. It's crazy. It's what you do after. It's like that's crazy. I'll give you
a week.
I'll give you a week to a month to tell you whether or not that's stupid crazy or awesome crazy.
That's true. That's
what it comes. That's execution.
100%.
It's 100% what it comes down to.
Why does no one get that? That is really going to be the memo of all of these podcasts: is just execute.
Yeah. Why aren't you doing it?
Man, I'm going to say that more. Do it.
Just do it.
I get texts. I got a text today that said, "Hey, I want to start a drop shipping site. What do I do?" I replied, "Google it."
Right? Oh my gosh. Let me Google that for you.
Let me Google that for you.com. And, man, weird questions. And
what's up, Osa?
Hi. We're wrapping up here, but thanks for stopping in. And
appreciate you dropping in. We're just wrapping up our podcast right now. We're coming up on 45 minutes, so we should probably cut it off now. I will post as soon as it's live on YouTube, so you can watch it since you just caught the back half.
Actually, you can save the story. You can save your live feed to your story now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, as of today, you can save your live feed to your story.
Also, we're doing a podcast for business. Just Young Entrepreneur Project is the name of the podcast. We're young entrepreneurs talking about the journey, talking about the trials and tribulations, talking about the adversity, everything.
So, hey, thanks for stopping in. Go, if you're watching this back on live and you just got here, I know that a couple people just filled in. So if you're watching this back, it's going to be in my story in about 5 minutes. It's going to be on his story in about 5 minutes. And it's going to be on YouTube in about an hour. Woo. So hang tight. Follow the Young Entrepreneur Project on YouTube, Kylan and Kolton. And we'll be right here. Channel's going to be a link in his bio.
Yep. I'll put that in 5 minutes. It's not there yet.
Link in his bio. Link in my bio at Kylan Laymance at Strictly Business Northwest. And until next time.
This has been the Young Entrepreneur Project, episode 2.
Thank you for hanging out with us for branding.
Thanks, guys.
And we will see you all tomorrow when we talk about... What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
I guess you'll just have to wait and see. Teaser!